This week's topic is relationships. Guess who doesn't have any experience with that? This person right here. So I was thinking, what do I talk about? The fact that I might potentially be a commitment phobe, the fact that every time I've sort of kind of tried to encourage myself into a relationship, like kind of push myself, it was out of the fact that I felt like I needed to try it out. I mean, what do I talk about here? Because I don't have any understanding of relationships in themselves because I've never been in one. And like I've mentioned before, I don't have much of a romantic relationship drive, so it's not really a big deal to me. It's just when it comes to talking about the subject, what do I say? What do I say? I can't exactly talk from experience. So, give me some ideas, people. I suppose I have to come up with these ideas myself. So, I guess I could talk about why I essentially am not one who has much of a romantic relationship drive. If you've ever heard of the term quirky alone, it's kind of like a movement, a personality type almost, then that basically describes me, minus like the little sexual components, but those aren't actually like a huge part of like the definition or yeah. So, quirky alone, that's kind of what I am at the end of the day. I believe strongly that I do not need to have any sort of romantic love for my life to be fulfilled, to be a happy and fulfilled individual. I believe that all sorts of love will do the job, will do the trick. That doesn't have to fall under romantic relationships. I'm not opposed to romantic relationships. I never have been, but I am opposed to romantic relationships just for the sake of not being alone. I mean, first of all, I don't really feel alone. Second of all, if I feel alone, I feel like perhaps I'm almost positive that a romantic relationship isn't going to solve that. It has to be something else that I need to work on and need to do to solve those feelings. So I've never felt like that's the answer. And I remember even like, in middle school when my friends all, wanted to date and they're like, oh, I want boyfriends. Oh, my parents won't let me date. And I was just like, why would you want to date? We're so young. Like, what are you gonna do with them? What are you going to do for a date? Are you going to go on the playground? Now, mind you, now that sounds pretty sweet, going to the playground with somebody for a date. But at the time, I was just like, what do you do when you date somebody at this age? And there was a time, probably, I don't know, 14, 15, 16, where I really started feeling like this pressure, like, maybe I feel like, I think a lot of it had to do with perhaps lack of self-confidence, and I thought if somebody liked me, that would just solve it all. But, that only was resolved with age and learning to, kind of love myself for who I am as opposed to somebody else loving me for who I am, or somebody else loving me in the romantic sense. And then there's the whole deal with, I don't really put much faith in romantic love. I think it's kind of, and I guess this might be controversial, I think it's kind of bullcrap. I mean, if I'm going to be entirely honest, I don't mean to invalidate anybody else's feelings, but I guess it's just my feeling on the matter. Like I said, I'm much more for other, like, platonic love, familial love, that sort of stuff is what I see as a little more important. And don't take it offense, this is just in my life. It's not to say that I don't, well, I don't know. I don't think love is all that it's probably cracked up to be. It's kind of one of those things that I'll believe it when I experience it. Thank you. Until then, don't tell me, like, what I should feel about the matter. Anything else about romantic relationships? I don't know. I mean, what else is there to say for somebody who's never been in one? I've had there have been times where I've come close. I've come close a few times to romantic relationships, but for some reason or other, they never worked out. There are 3 instances that I can think of. One of them, the person was pretty sexual, and they knew I was asexual, and we were both kind of like, this isn't really going to work out with us. You know, I like you, but... And then the second time, it was like, I had liked them for a while, and then, you know, it both kind of came out that we liked each other, and they started talking about a relationship, and I was just like, whoa, 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 and it kind of freaked me out because I didn't know, I hadn't really thought about the idea of a relationship with that person, and then I kind of sort of freaked out, and I ran away from that. And then the third time, it was somebody who I had fallen pretty hard for, and they just turned out they just really, you know, we had talked about the idea of being in a relationship together, how that would work and stuff, and at the end of the day, they just didn't like me as much as I liked them, if at all, even though, you know, they kind of led me on, and it was an experience, that one, but I kind of took it as karma for the second instance. But yeah, that's the extent, I guess, of my experience, and it isn't even romantic relationships, it's just kind of, I came close at times, and that's about it. So that's my take on romantic relationships. Comments, questions, concerns, more topic suggestions. Sorry, I'm a little jumbled today. I had made another video for this, but it turned out kind of crappy and just really boring. Even though this was probably boring too. For that, I'm sorry. Oh, and before I go, bug antennas. Bye bye.